Hey guys, it's Sam and I'm here to do the Bookish Love tag. This is actually a Valentine's Day tag, but I love talking about couples and everything, and it's been a little while since I've done a whole video dedicated to ships, and I need to do that every couple months or so to get it out of my system, so I felt like doing this tag, even though it's technically a Valentine's Day tag. I was tagged by Lynette Marie 3, and this tag was originally created by Novel Noise. I will link both their channels down below. So question number 1 is 3 book boyfriends or girlfriends. For this one, I decided to pick people that I genuinely would date if they were real. There are a lot of characters that I really enjoy as characters and characters that I really enjoy as part of couples, but there's typically a lot of characters in there that I wouldn't really want to date myself because they're scary or violent or moody or whatever. So I picked people that I would genuinely want to date in real life. The first character is Micah from the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series. He is a character that shows up later in the books, and he ends up being kind of a love interest for Anita, and he is just a nice person. He's nice, but he's also very kind of like dominant as a personality. Like he has like a power role within the society. So I don't want to spoil it if people are reading it, but he definitely has like a higher power role, but he doesn't take advantage of it, and he's not a douchebag about it, and he's really nice, and he just makes compromises with a relationship. Like he's not bratty or where he like won't make compromises, because that's what you do in a loving relationship. You have to kind of compromise, you know, it's not always your way or the highway. Like you have to kind of give and take there, and he's understanding, and he wants what's best for the people that he loves, and he is very selfless and just an all-around nice person and very chill. Like he's okay, he can just chill. Like he is a guy that could just sit there and watch Netflix with you all day and it wouldn't matter, but he could also take you out on like a really nice date. He's just like a really nice person, and I would totally date him. Next is Carswell Thorne from the Lunar Chronicles series. He shows up in Scarlet and Cress, and I always kind of wondered why I didn't ship him and Cress as much as a lot of other people do, and I think it's because I ship him with myself. I picture him as kind of like a Captain Jack Harkness from Doctor Who / Han Solo, like really Han Solo-y from Star Wars, and Han Solo is like my original crush for like fantasy, sci-fi, everything. Like Harrison Ford as Han Solo is my everything. So that's why I originally just loved him, and I just want to basically date him and like fly around in a spaceship because I just adore him so much. And he's sassy, but he really cares about people, and he's loyal, but he's snarky, and he's always making a joke or something even if they're like in a near-death situation, and I just adore him, and I can't wait to see what happens to him in the next book. On a very similar note is Nikolai from the Grisha trilogy. He shows up in Siege and Storm and also Ruin and Rising, and I love him so much. I really enjoy the Darkling from that series, but I wouldn't want to date the Darkling because the Darkling's not a nice person. Nikolai is a nice person. He is loyal. He is really defensive of his country. He loves his friends. He is also snarky and sassy, and he can manipulate a situation perfectly, and he's just so great. And I love him so much, and I want to date him. He's so cute and just a nice person to be around, and you always be laughing, and he has just a great sense of humor even in like the worst situations. So Nikolai is like ultimate book boyfriend material. Question number 2 is 3 OTPs, which stands for one true pairing, and that's hard because I have so many, and so many that I've talked about before, and I just love my couples. But I try to narrow it down to like my top 3 right now as of this moment. They're always kind of changing around, but these are the 3 that I feel like they're current, but they also have stuck around for a little while, so I can safely say like these are OTPs. My first OTP is Cleo and Magnus from the Fallen Kingdom series by Morgan Rhodes. I just love them so much. They technically aren't a couple yet because I think they will be and they need to be. They have sassy banter. They're definitely a couple that started out completely hating each other, and they're not exactly friends now, and I just really adore them. That's my favorite kind of romance, is when they go from really hating each other to eventually falling in love. It's my like perfect just recipe for an OTP, so Cleo and Magnus are my everything. No surprise here, my next OTP is Warner and Juliet from the Shatter Me series. Of course, you guys were expecting this one. Again, another couple that grew from hate to a relationship. I adored them and their journey, and it was angsty, and it took a while, and I just loved it. And they are a couple that really supports each other. They believe in each other. They both know that they are okay separately, which is why they're so great together. I love them. I love them so much. And my last OTP is Alina and the Darkling / Nikolai from the Grisha trilogy. I really just can't choose. I feel like the Darkling and her are like my ultimate OTP now, post-series ending. I just adore them. I've just completely jumped off the cliff of sanity into just loving them. For those of you that don't know, I actually made a playlist devoted to them. Yes, because I'm that obsessed. I will link it down below. I posted it on my blog. I've reached a whole new level of like insanity with Alina and the Darkling. So again, just a very angsty couple. They understand each other, but they don't really want to, and there's love there, but it's really closely shadowed by hate, and those love and hate are very similar emotions, people. And oh, it's just so good. I just love this pairing, and it's dark and twisty, and it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, I get that, but I love it. Question number 3 is favorite first kiss, and that goes to Saba and Jack from Blood Red Road. This is the first book in the Dustlands trilogy. I have only read this book so far. I feel like I always say that when I talk about this book because I'm not sure how the rest of the series goes for this couple, but their first kiss, so good, because this relationship is so angsty and they have a lot of banter and they don't want to like each other. Like, they really don't. And they do, and they just can't help, they're just drawn to each other. So there's a lot of like fighting, and it's one of those like, we're fighting and then finally we make out. And that's like the perfect first kiss for me. I just love reading about that, seeing that in TV shows, whatever. Like when a couple is just so angry and they're fighting and there's just sarcasm and banter, and then one of them is just like, screw it, and kisses the other one. That's what this was. It was so good. I'm still like a flutter from this, and I read this over the summer. I just love that first kiss. It's like my favorite recipe for a first kiss. Question number 3 is coupled with the most sexual tension, and that will go to Katie and Damon from the Lux series. I have only read the first book in this series so far as of filming this video, and their sexual tension is something else. Again, another couple that really doesn't want to like each other, and I just really enjoy that, obviously, in couples. I've said that before. They really don't want to like each other, but they still can't stop thinking about the other one and the other one's body and everything else. You don't get Damon's perspective in this book, you only get Katie's, but you can just tell, and she will say in one line that she hates him, and the next second she's like, man, but he's hot. And it's just really funny. This is the couple that instantly came to my mind when I saw this question. They just have the most sexual tension, and when this couple finally gets together, it'll be so great because we've had so much sexual tension from them. Since this is a Valentine's Day tag, these next set of questions all have to do with, like, on Valentine's Day, this couple is most likely to blank. So number 5, which couple is most likely to go to a fancy restaurant? And I would say Celia and Marco from the Night Circus, just because I feel like they're a very classy couple. They just like spending time together quietly. I feel like a quiet, nice, fancy dinner would be perfect for them. And they just like spending quality time with one another, but in a nice environment, because the circus itself is like a really beautiful environment. So I feel like the fancy restaurant would be the perfect kind of setting for them. And they're just classic, you know, like an older kind of couple, you know, this is that historical fiction type thing. So I feel like they would really fit in perfectly with a fancy restaurant dinner. Number 6 is couple most likely to go for a walk on the beach or a quiet picnic, and I think that would be Amy and Roger from Amy and Roger's Epic Detour. If you read the book, you kind of understand why I would feel that way. They're another couple that just like spending time together. They're not super fancy. They both enjoy the outdoors. They just enjoy spending time in each other's company, you know, quietly, and they would really like kind of a no-frills picnic outside, and it would be perfect for them. Number 7 is which couple would most likely stay at home and watch Netflix, and for that I would say Katza and Poe from the Graceling series. Of course, this is fantasy world where Netflix does not exist, but Katza and Poe are just a couple that like spending time with each other, kind of away from everybody, and I think they would really enjoy just like chilling out at home, not necessarily watching Netflix, but just kind of hanging out at home, not doing anything fancy, because they're always out and about doing something. They're always on some kind of mission. There's always some like life or death situation. They never really get time to just like rest. So I think on Valentine's Day, they just be like, let's just stay home and like cuddle and not do anything else. Number 8, which couple is most likely to go dancing? I didn't want to repeat couples for this, but I have to say Juliet and Warner, and I think that's because when I was reading Ignite Me, I was obsessed with a song that was on the radio. It's Two On from Tinashe, if everyone's heard of it, but it's like a hip-hop song, and for some reason I was like always correlating the couple with that song, so I had this like weird headcanon of them going to a club and like dirty dancing, like Juliet pulling Warner to a club, him like not wanting to do anything and just like standing there and being like, I don't want to, because he's embarrassed because he's like proper Warner, and her being like, let's just do it. Like, so that's my like headcanon, so I couldn't pick anybody else for this because I was reading the book and constantly thinking that because I was also obsessed with that song at the time. So it has to be Juliet and Warner. I'm sorry for the repeat, but it's my headcanon, and now I've shared it with you. Number 9 is what couple do you want to get together? Obviously I've already mentioned Cleo and Magnus, but in my head they are already together. I cannot, no. And these couples are very similar to that, where I kind of am just like, they're already together, don't tell me that there's no possibility of them being together. I had to pick 2 for this. First is Leah and Rafe from the Kiss of Deception. I love them so much. I love them from their first interactions. It's a love triangle in here. Obviously, that's why I'm picking this book, but I love Rafe, and I love Leah, and I love their chemistry, and I love their potential, and I need them together. I need it like I need air. On a very similar note is Kale and Selena from the Throne of Glass series. I know there's a lot of different opinions on this. There's like 3 different potential ships right now within this series, but Kale and Selena are everything, and I will fight you about this. I just love them together. I love what they do for each other. I know that there's a lot of things happening with this series right now, but they will eventually end up together. I can't handle it any other way. I cannot handle a broken heart. Please just stop. I need them together. I think that they make each other better people. I think they learn from each other. I think there's a lot of parallels going on with their story right now. I'm not going to give any spoilers. I'm doing a review on this series very soon, coming up this month, so if you're interested in me talking about this more, if you've read this series, I'm posting a gush. I will link that down below when it is posted. I need them together. It's so serious. Like, I can't stop talking about it right now because if I talk about it more, maybe it'll happen. I need it. I need it. I need it. And number 10 is, what is a couple that you hate that everyone else loves? I do not hate this couple by any means, but it is a couple that I know that everyone else loves, because typically speaking, if I hate a couple, a lot of the people in the fandom hate the couple too, so don't pick any of those. But this is one that I know a lot of people like, and I just personally didn't really feel, and that was Eleanor and Park from Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I did a review on this. I will link it down below for you to check out so you can hear more of my thoughts on it. I just didn't connect to the romance for some reason. It was cute, but it just didn't feel it for some reason, so I didn't hate it. Don't come after me with pitchforks, but I just didn't love it as much as everybody else did. Alright guys, that is it for the Bookish Love tag. I'm not going to tag anybody because it's after Valentine's Day. It's technically a Valentine's Day tag, but if you guys want to do it, I definitely recommend it. It's a great way to talk about your ships. So comment down below and let me know what ships you really appreciate and some of the answers that you would have for these questions. I would love to hear your thoughts. So thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you guys soon. Bye!